Hi, we're back.
Hi, it's been a long time.
Our big adventure by bicycle down the Great Divide and the Baja Divide officially ended in La Paz at the beginning of January. It's a great trip, lots of adventures. We were looking forward to getting off the bikes for a little while, so we made our way south a little bit further down to the La Ventana area here and decided to stay for a while. We had signed up for a Workaway program, which is essentially an exchange of services of our own for a place to stay. So we ended up in this little camper van on Rich and Sherry's property in El Sargento. We did some stuff for them, work around the property. I did some cement work. I learned how to plaster. Lee did some projects as well. And one of the main things that we did was this fence post at the entrance of their property. So it's the second post of a gate, and we put the stones around it. So that actually turned out really nice. We learned a lot doing this project. We ended up staying there for about 2 months, just doing odd jobs around the property, helping out here and there. It wasn't all work. We definitely had our leisure time. We learned how to play Mexican train and had some communal dinners. Their property is right on the water, on the Sea of Cortez, so we ended up down there snorkeling and enjoying ourselves there. After that, we moved over to La Ventana. We found an Airbnb that needed some dog sitting services, so we ended up staying in a trailer again with Maya and Mango, two great little dogs. We had so much fun hanging out with these dogs, got to know them really well, and had a little more time to ourselves, so we met John and Sheila and did some Dutch oven cooking with them, had some cocktails, as you do. There are some good mountain bike trails in the area, so we took advantage of that. I sent out a little Q&A survey not too long ago. Thank you for your responses. As we go through that, I'm going to run through some highlights of our trip, like running into this guy on the trail. So we put the questions out to you, and thank you very much for responding. That was really cool. We got a lot of feedback on that one. We've kind of done a condensed version of what people asked, so we're gonna kind of dive right into it. So the first question Joanne asked was, what inspired this trip? So I can tell you that Ryan Van Duzer inspired this trip specifically. He's a YouTuber that does adventure cycling. He helped design the bike that we bought, and we thought, hey, that's a cool trip. Let's go do that. But we like riding by bike, so we're always up for a bicycle adventure. So Chris asked, what was the biggest challenge and what was the biggest accomplishment? What was our biggest challenge, do you think, on this one?
I think because it was a year, we have to be really open to changing our plan. So, for example, the Great Divide mountain bike ride, we were originally going to do it from start to finish, and then we ran into weather challenges and decided, let's make a change, and that took a whole mind shift. It became a new trip that we had never imagined.
So what was our biggest accomplishment? We had some monster days on the bike, honestly. Days that were big enough for us to question ourselves as to whether we were actually ready to do this trip or not. But we got them done, and we felt a great sense of accomplishment, not just physically, but mentally. So that was a big deal.
What is your best memory of this trip?
That's a question we get all the time. What's the best part of this trip? There's so many parts of this trip. Have you got one?
Depends upon the day. Yeah, that's it. That's usually the response they get.
Depends on the day. I can tell you that the section between Ciudad Constitucion and San Evaristo in the Baja California was very memorable. It was very challenging. It was awesome in many, many ways. And I'm going to put that one out there as my best memory, although there are many, many close seconds. Frank wants to know how many kilometers, everybody wants to know how many kilometers per day and how many total kilometers did we ride?
We averaged 50 to 75 kilometers a day, and probably did a total of about 7,000 kilometers from July till January.
Minus a small section in the lower states where we rented the van to get us into warmer weather into San Diego. But that's
a blog post that you can take a look at.
It's a change that we had to, accommodate. And Frank also asked, when can I come visit? And Frank, my friend, as soon as we're back, come and visit. Joanne wants to know, what was our biggest surprise?
I can answer that one.
Yeah.
I think that we knew bike packing was going to be tough. We knew we'd have some cool scenery, some amazing adventures, but we didn't know how amazing it would be to meet all the people that we met and how many cool people there are. Not just traveling by bike, just people that we met traveling by caravan, by tent, walking, not even traveling, just being out there. It was amazing.
The world is really full of great people. And they're out there. It was really, really heartwarming. So one of the biggest surprises that I found specifically answers the second question that we've got from Monty and Sherry. Were we ever frightened or threatened in Mexico? And is it as scary as people make it out to be? So I have to tell you that it's the media that makes it scary. And when we got into Mexico, we were immersed in the love of Latin America. It was surprising how beautiful it was to be the recipients of people who just were happy that we were here riding our bikes. We were almost famous as soon as we got into Mexico.
People were stopping us and they were helping us get onto the right routes, and then they gave us money for coffee.
They did?
And I'm like, that's so cool. That's so sweet.
They were taking photos of us and videos as we were going, tooting the horn as we were going down. Mexico is beautiful. Scott, you're going to set out on an adventure of yourself with a friend of yours, and you want to know one thing we're glad we didn't leave home without. I'm very glad that we brought. So Scott, you're out.
Start again. Take 3.
So, Scott and Gus, you are about to set out on an adventure of your own, and Scott asked, one thing we're glad we didn't leave home without. So, for myself, I'm very glad that I brought a dromedary, an extra 10-liter bag for water. Water is muy importante, and we used it more than we thought we would. So I'm glad I had that. I'm also glad you brought your camelback, because off the bike, the camelback,
it's fun for being a little backpack.
Yeah, it's
and
a backpack, it's water, it's great. So that was 2 things that we used a lot more than we thought we would. What about yourself?
I am very grateful we brought chairs.
Right.
Because it's so nice to have something with a backrest at the end of the day, and especially when you're in the desert and there's thorns everywhere, it's nice to sit in a chair. What we bring that we wish we hadn't. We mailed stuff home. You're always going to overpack. We've done that a million times.
I mean, it's a year-long trip in 3 different countries. There's no perfect plan for that. So anybody who does this kind of trip is going to be mailing stuff home, and we did several
Almost
times.
everybody we met mailed stuff home.
Just that's so for Scott specifically, you guys, just
be ready to mail stuff home.
put that in the plan.
Oh, one more thing that was really good: the bear bag, the Ursack.
Oh,
really, really good. Not just for bears, animals in general. So you can hang it. Very, very, very resistant, and it's perfect for carrying your food.
Yes, it is. If it's bear proof, it's critter proof, and that's important. Yeah, good one.
Okay.
What did you miss the most from home while traveling? So, especially when we got into Utah and then into Mexico, I missed the trees. I really noticed that they weren't here, and I missed them. I also missed, well, you know me, a good pint of beer, but
Tecate really wasn't cut in
it
for
wasn't.
Jeff.
Not. No, thank you.
And we missed our friends and family. It was really nice to have everybody reach out through our blog, though.
Yeah, thanks for being there.
Yeah.
So finally, Joanne wants to know, when are we back in Canada and how will we travel? So from this point on, we are going to spend a couple months in England.
Yay.
Yeah, we're going to see family and do a little tour there. And when we get back to Canada in July, we are probably going to do a little backcountry excursion via kayak. So we'll put the bikes away. If that's what you meant by how will we travel, because another answer to that is that we are going to graduate to a van.
Yes, that is in our future.
Yes. That's where we're off to next. We're wrapping up our stay in Mexico with a couple of weeks in La Paz. We're going to be joining Tony on his boat. Thank you in advance, Tony, for taking us out for 5 days on the Sea of Cortez. And then we will continue on our little adventure, and we will be putting up some more posts when they become available. All right?
Thanks for following us.
Thanks very much for joining us, and I hope it was fun. I hope you learned something, and till next time, dare I say?
Ciao.
Ciao.